Chaitanyamishtam Sthayena Bhutale Supadam Tadandi Swapam Digam Teham Shri Yuda Padakam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagarjadam Sahagana Reganatani Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Sabadudam Harijana Sahidam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishada Ginamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namosude Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusude Devi Pranami Hari Priyamalpadarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Paditana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhudale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshnari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we'll continue with chapter 10, the Chatusloka Gita. Very important verses, 8th sloka to 11th sloka. So pure bhakti, it states about the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, the 4 verses. So I request all of you to make contest of these 4 verses. Or else 8 and 10 is the one to be memorized. So 10.8 summarizes Krishna's opulences and result of truly knowing his opulences, one become his pure devotee. 10.9 describes how a pure devotee worships him. And 10.10 and 11 describes his reciprocation with the loving worship. So actually 10.8 is actually a sambandha, our relationship with Krishna, to know how truly Krishna's opulences are. 10.9 is the aviteya, the process, how much chitta, madgada, prana. You should, they keep talking about Krishna, the pure devotees. And 10.10 and 11 is the prayojana, or the goal of doing bhakti. You understood? So 10.8 is about the sambandha, our relationship with Krishna. What is Krishna? Who is our relation? 9 is the aviteya, that is about devotional service, about Shravanam and Kirtanam. It's explaining how to with Krishna. 10.10, 11 is another goal, what you get. That is, Krishna destroys the ignorance within us and give us prema bhakti. So Lord Krishna is the source of everything, and those who understand this become his devotee and enjoy fixing their mind and hearts in him. The Lord gives them the knowledge to come to him. Okay, so 10.98. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate idi matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvidaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material world. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So very important sloka. It's quoted by so many, in so many places by Srila Prabhupada, because to prove that Krishna is the source of everything. Right? This verse established Krishna as the original source of all spiritual and material world. And what is the result of knowing this? One surrenders and engage in devotional service. So Prabhupada says, we know God is great. We don't know how great he is. So once we know more and more about Krishna, we fall in love with the same person again and again. Now, falling in love with Krishna again and again. That's what real bhakti is about. So here, more and more we hear about Krishna, the more and more we know about him, we surrenders and we engage in devotional service and worship Krishna with all one's heart. So how do you understand this truth about Krishna? Only by hearing from the Shastras. So that's why Shastra is called what Praman? There are 3 Pramanas, no? What are the 3? And what? So what else? What are the other Pramanas? Yes. So, right, Shabda means about hearing, oral reception. So that's Shruti and Shruti. That's why Vedas are called Shruti Praman, or you can hear by oral reception. So Shabda Praman. Then what is Pratyaksha Praman? Pratyaksha means
direct perception. Direct experience.
Direct perception. You can see and experience it. And Anumanda is
assumption.
Hypothesis. Like you assume that this may be like this, this may be like this. So a best intelligent person should take Shabda Praman. Like 2 kids are at home, 3 kids. So one, you told them, don't touch the fire, your hand will burn. So the intelligent one, because the parents have told, don't touch the fire, she don't go near the fire. She's saved. The second one wants to experience it. So that is Pratyaksha, want to go and touch it, experimenting that knowledge, and then gets burned and then learns from it. And the other one is just might be like he assumes, oh, it might burn, it may not burn, like that. So Shabda Praman, but he might do the mistake of touching it. So the Shabda Praman is the best thing. So we should be intelligent to hear the Shastra and then understand. So from hearing from the Shastras through bona fide authorities, a learned scholar who have studied the Vedas perfectly and has information about the authorities like Lord Chaitanya, and one who knows how to apply these teachings can understand the truth. Result is that one is never deviated from by any nonsensical commentaries or by fools. So Krishna is the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartade. Right? Everything material and spiritual emanates from Krishna. And idi matva bhajante mam. If you know this, bhajante, you'll do devotional service to Krishna. Okay, so Prabhupada quotes in the purport, so many Shastras he quotes and says that Krishna is the source of all demigods. Aham adirhi devanam, Krishna says, or Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. And again, Krishna is the beginning. In the beginning, gave knowledge to Brahma. Tene Brahma Hriday Adikave. So when Brahma was created, nobody was around. So how did Brahma get the knowledge? From Krishna within, gave the knowledge. The Supreme Person Narayan decided to create living entities. Thus, Brahmaji, the 20 creatures, the Indra, Vasus, 11 Rudras, the 12 Adityas were born. Narayan is an expansion of Krishna. The beginning of Krishna was creation, that only the Supreme Personality got it. Govindam Adipurusha, right? And the Krishna says the Patrechas, the Shiva and others are created by him, although they do not know so, because they're diluted by his illusionary energy. Varaha Purana says Narayan is the Supreme Personality from whom Lord Brahma and further Lord Shiva is born. So Prabhupada again comments, avoid unauthorized commentaries on Bhagavad Gita where foolish people comment on Krishna as an ordinary person. Thus, one should proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination. So the first sloka says about Krishna's opulences, or what he is. He is the source of everything. So, and what is our relation with Krishna, or knowing more about Krishna. So that's the first sloka. The second sloka is the Aviteya. Now, what do you do once we know Krishna is the Supreme? Machitta matkada prana bodhayanda parasparam kadayanda shamam nityam tushyanti charamandicha. The thought of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always engaging one another and conversing about them. So what does pure devotees do? They talk about Krishna and they feel happy. Bodhayanda parasparam. They talk about Krishna to each other. How do we silence doesn't mean keeping quiet. Silence means to talk only about Krishna. That's what Prabhupada says. And a pure devotee talks only about Krishna, right? And Bodhayanda Parasparam, he enlightens each other. And Kadayanda Shamamdityam Tushyanti Charamandi. They feel so happy after that. So Krishna becomes the life and soul of such devotees, and they constantly relish hearing and discussing about Krishna. So once my friend, they were traveling to this ISKCON temple. So all were non-devotees with her, all the family were non-devotees. So she was chanting. Till they reached the temple, she was quiet because what does a devotee has to talk to the non-devotees? They're not interested in politics, they're not interested in movies or anything. They were discussing, but she was chanting. The moment they reached so much so that she started explaining, see, this is our Prabhupada, this is that, and got jabba beats for all the relatives, and everyone started chanting and started explaining, gave them prasad and so much. So one of her relative was saying, what happened to you? In the car, you were so silent. And once you reach, you are behaving like one hysteric person or psychic person. Too much you're talking. So that's normal for a devotee. Because when it comes to Krishna, that person can go on talking. But when it comes to other material things, how much ever you talk, there is a limit. Right? So devotees in 2 stages of devotional service. In primary stage, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And mature says they are always situated in the love of God and thus relish the highest perfection, which is exhibited by Lord in his abode. So analogy of sowing the seed of devotional service within one's heart has been explained. All of you know this. The very, very, very important analogy. So Lord Chaitanya compares the transcendental devotional service to sowing a seed in the heart of a living entity. Brahmande Brahmito Kono Bhagavan Ji Guru Krishna Rupai Pai Bhakti Lada Beej. This Bhakti Lada is a tender creeper. You know, you've seen creepers, they have to have a stick to grow, or they are very weak and tender. So this Bhakti is also like that. And there's a beej, it's like a seed. So once you get the seed, we are like a gardener, and Mahaprabhu says we should sow it in our heart. Now how do you water it? So watering of the seed is here, hearing and chanting of the Hare Krishna. Only rare, fortunate souls will get the seed. So all of us have got the seed, right? So that means we are fortunate. And innumerable living entities are traveling all over the universe. Brahmande Brahmite. Brahmanda means so many universes are there, so many Brahmandas. We have gone through so many lives in so many Brahmandas. And finally, Bhagyavanji, very fortunate, will get the seed. How? Guru, Krishna, Kripai. By both, we should need pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. So because of Krishna's mercy, we got Prabhupada. Because of Prabhupada's mercy, we're getting Krishna. It's hand in hand, together it goes. And okay, that's the seed. And once you get the seed, what you do? You have to sow it and water the seed by hearing and chanting. Okay, not like you put bucket of water on one day and 10 days you don't water the plant. What happens? It dries off, right? So no, it's every day hearing and chanting has to be done. Not like read one chapter of Bhagavatam one day and then 2-3 days don't read. No, regularly we should do. And seed fructifies and grows. It penetrates the covering of the material universe, reaches the Brahmajyoti, grows more, and finally it reaches the highest Goloka Vrindavan planet and then takes shelter on the lotus feet of Krishna. And then what happens? Gradually it bears fruits and flowers, and the watering process should go on. Thus, one becomes fully absorbed in love of Godhead. One cannot live a moment without the Lord. At this stage, the devotee attains transcendental qualities in contact with the Lord. Like a fish cannot live without water, right? It shakes. So it cannot live. So this is a very important analogy in Bhakti Shastri question. Okay. How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu compares the Bhakti to a seed, which has to be sown in our heart. And then we have to water it daily with Shravanam and Kirtanam. And slowly, it grows and grows and grows. Now, it need a stick, no? The creeper need a stick to grow. What is that stick on which the Bhaktilada beej is growing?
Association.
Very nice. Yes. So devotee association. So devotee sadhu sangha. Association is required. Without association, the creeper is not going to go up. So association is required. And as a gardener, we should tie a fence around the garden, right? And there will be weeds growing. What are these weeds in devotional service? This is a little extra I'm talking about. What are the
Non-devotees.
Non-devotee association? Okay.
Attachments.
Anarthas, Mataji.
Anarthas get washed away.
Anarthas.
No, that will get washed away when you do devotional service. That's not a weed. Yes, Suma Mataji?
Anarthas, Mataji, and Maya also. Sense.
What did
Sense
you say?
objects and sense objects, Mataji.
Huh?
Sense objects, Mataji.
Sense objects. These are not the weeds.
Material desires.
Material desires are not the weeds in devotional service. Weeds.
Arishad Vargas, Mataji.
Huh?
Arishad Vargas. Kama Moha.
Oh, the Kama. No. What are the 6 weeds? Maya. No. Okay, there are 6 weeds in devotional service. Now, we are a gardener. We got the seed. Now, what you got? When you get a seed, what you do? You make a nice soil, nice place. That's our heart. And then you dig it and then plant the seed. Now you are watering as a gardener. So you water with Shravanam and Kirtanam. Nice watering you're doing. Nice sunlight it's getting and it's growing. Pierce the material universe and go to Brahmajyoti, go to Goloka Vrindavan, take shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. And this creeper is growing around the stick called association. Now, as a gardener, you're supposed to put a fence and some weeds might grow. A nice rose plant and there is a weed. So many weeds like unwanted grass. It has to be taken away. Otherwise, what will happen? All the fertilizers and manures will be taken by the weeds and the weeds will grow better than the creeper. Now, what are the 6 weeds? First is...
Atyahara prayasas.
No. These are not the weeds. Okay. That is the 6 things which destroy bhakti. No. So, the 6 weeds are, first is duplicity or kutinati. Second is nishita ajar. Third is jiva himsa and mana, puja and pratishta. These are the 6 weeds of devotional services, which is explained more in Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can just know what it is. I'm not going in detail. First is duplicity. Duplicity means in front, you are nice devotee, wear tilak, kanti and everything. From behind, you go and talk bad about other devotees, or you are a different person at home. That's called duplicity. You wear a mask. So in the temple, you're nice, Hare Krishna. But at home, when you go, the real you comes out. So that's like duplicity. A devotee should not have duplicity behavior. That's one thing. Duplicity or kutinati, it's called. Second is Nishita Ajar. Nishita Ajar means the 4 regulative principles which has to be followed, rules and regulations. Violating that, no, that should not be done. That's again a weeds to devotional service. You are chanting Hare Krishna on the same time you are taking tea and coffee or onion and garlic. And then whatever you got through chanting, everything gets your consciousness disturbed by breaking the 4 regulative principles. So Nishita Ajar. So first is duplicity or kutinati. Next is Nishita Ajar, not following the 4 regulative principles, breaking it. Then Jiva Himsa. Jiva Himsa means causing hurt to other living entities. It can be a chicken or a goat or, having meat eating, or it can also be harm or pain to other living entities, even human beings and all. So duplicity or kutinati, Jiva Himsa, Nishar, Mana, Puja and Pradishta. These are different things, but comes together. Mana, Puja, Pradishta means as we advance in Krishna consciousness, we feel, oh, I'm so advanced. I'm a advanced devotee, and others should tell Hare Krishna to me. Or expecting Amanina Mana, they're expecting respect from others. No, that is called Mana, Puja and Pradishta. I should be honored in the temple, or I should be, have that feeling, aham mamedi, feeling that, oh, I should be. So that is also a weed of devotional service. So as a gardener, we are supposed to, or as a sadhaka, we are supposed to take away all these weeds. Now, as Mataji said, there is an Sumama sense offense to the Vaishnavas. Vaishnava aparad is compared to what? By Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's not a weed. That's
Mad
an
elephant.
great offense. Mad elephant. Yes, very good. Jyotilakshmi. Yes. So mad elephant, Hati Mata. Like a mad elephant, it comes to a garden. What will we do? It will smash everything. And this tender Bhakti Lata beach is so tender that the mad elephant will come and uproot it of all of a sudden. So that's Vaishnava Aparad, or offending a Vaishnava, the first offense to the holy name, right? Blaspheming a devotee who have dedicated their life in serving the holy name of the Lord. So blaspheming the devotee or offending a Vaishnava by words, actions, anything. In Kali Yuga, offending in the mind have no reaction. But then by words, by your action, when you offend a devotee, then it is Vaishnava Aparad. And Vaishnava Aparad is compared to the Hati Mata or a mad elephant. So you understood this is the Bhakti Laga Bij. You understood the watering of the seed is hearing and chanting. Then what should we do? We should have association as a strong stick for it, and you put a fence around it. Take away all the 6 weeds, that is kutinati and duplicity, Jiva Himsa, Nishitajar, Mana, Puja and Pradishta, and protect it from Vaishnava Aparad or the mad elephant or Hati Mata. Then what happens? The Bhakti Lata Bij will nicely grow and it takes shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna and it fructifies. So it takes a long process, but then at least let's try. Little abarad offenses will happen to all of us. We are not pure devotees. We are still so in contamination. No, all of us, we need a lot of purification to happen. So small anathas can happen, small offenses can happen. But then we should take care. Once we know this, we should slowly try to handle a situation in a nice way so that our Bhakti Lata Bij is not disturbed. But we should water it daily, nityam. Realized devotees in Krishna consciousness relish discussing and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Mamalam. So Bhagavatam is the favorite of all the Vaishnavas. Why? Because why it is spoken about Krishna, no? More than Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita spoke about Krishna. For Vaishnavas is Bhagavatam. This means there's nothing to throw up from Bhagavatam. Shuka Mukha Damrita Dravya Savyada Pibata Bhagavalayam Muhuraho Riskabu Vibhavaka. Right? So Bhagavatam is the spotless Puran. I might have a network issue. So what is Srimad Bhagavatam? Necessary narration about the transcendental relationship between Lord and his devotees. Bhagavatam is dear to Krishna also. Okay, even Lord Shiva likes to hear Bhagavatam. So after the class, remind me a story of Lord Shiva talking Bhagavatam to Mata Parvati. The standard of Srimad Bhagavatam is free from Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Pleasure in Srimad Bhagavatam is a transcendental narration, and realized souls take pleasure in such literatures. Even liberated souls like Shukadeva Goswami, Lord Shiva gets attracted to Bhagavatam. Like there's an analogy, okay? There's a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. Like just a young girl and a young boy, once they meet, they get that pleasure naturally. Similarly, realized soul in Krishna consciousness take pleasure in hearing the transcendental literature about Krishna. Okay, this will be open book essay question 7 and 8, 9 and 10. After the 10th chapter, I'll post this. Okay, so this can be an open book question for you. 8th chapter you wrote about open book, right? 9th and 10th. 10th again you are supposed to write. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10th chapter. So
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry
yes.
for the only 7th chapter I think we have done. Only 7th.
Yeah, 7th you did, no?
Yes.
So 7th and 8th is together. Then
Okay.
9th and 10th together. So this will be the 10th chapter question.
Thank
Okay,
you.
this is the relevance. This you will do it later. Okay. So that is the Machitta, Madgata, Prana, Bodha, and the Parasparam. So devotees, when they meet each other, they talk about Krishna Kada. Srila Prabhupada was like that. Whenever you meet Prabhupada, I mean devotees, he speak only about Krishna. So 10.10 is about the Prayojana. Krishna gives the intelligence. Now, when you do devotional service, what happens? Tadami buddhi yogam. Krishna gives the intelligence. Tesham sadadi yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayandike. To those who are constantly devoted in serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So the joy that the pure devotees experience by glorifying Krishna is spiritual bliss beyond the three modes. How do these devotees grasp Krishna, who is infinite in form, qualities, and power? Krishna gives them the intelligence. Previous verse describe how devotees worship Krishna. This verse and the next verse describe how Krishna reciprocates with his devotees. The activities of pure devotees are given in the previous sloka and which attract Krishna's mercy. So Krishna will give the buddhi yoga, how to advance. Now, when you keep doing devotional service, Krishna will start guiding you. Action in Krishna consciousness, the sign of highest intelligence. Buddhi means intellect. Buddhi yoga means bhakti yoga, both are same. Intelligence or yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. Thus, buddhi yoga is a process by which one gets out of the entanglement of material world. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna, and people do not know this. Therefore, association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master is very, very important. So Krishna gives the intelligence. There are different steps of yoga. When one knows the goal is Krishna, but is addicted to the fruits, karma yoga. When one knows the goal is Krishna, but takes pleasure in mental speculation to understand Krishna, he is acting in jnana yoga. So karma yoga means we know goal is Krishna, but we are addicted to the fruits. That is karma yoga. And nishkama karma is when you give up the fruits. And when you know the goal is Krishna, but takes pleasure in mental speculation, that is jnana yoga. And when you know the goal is Krishna, completely Krishna consciousness, do devotional service, then you are in buddhi yoga or bhakti yoga. That's a complete or perfectional yoga. Krishna says now, Yoginam abhi sarvesham adgade nandaratmanam shraddhavan bhajade yomam rame mukta tamo matam. The importance of working for Krishna or rendering service with love is, the qualification is that a person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion render all kind of service. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be out of love. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain him. So even though we are not intelligent, Krishna will help us. Only you need that desire, tatra laulyam, right? That desire should be there to go back to Krishna. So Krishna mercifully destroys the ignorance in the heart. That's what 10.11 says. Isham evam kamparam aham atjam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvata. To show them special mercy, I dwelling in their hearts destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Mayavadi philosophies, incorrect criticism of devotees as sentimentalists. That's Mayavadis they criticize. So Lord Chaitanya was criticized by Prakashan and the Saraswati in Banaras. Okay, so many learned scholars have put forward philosophy of devotion. Even if a devotee is not intelligent enough to take advantage of the literature of the spiritual master, but if he seeks here, Krishna helps him. Only qualification is to carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. All the devotees does not have to worry about material necessities of life. When darkness is removed, the Lord is pleased. Everything is automatically provided by the Lord. Yogakshema Mahamiham. The conclusion is that this is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to Krishna and engage in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kind of materialistic endeavors. Okay, so now we'll have a small breakout room. So the sloka for memorization for this chapter is 10.8 and 10, no? 10.8
Yes,
and
Mataji. Yes, 10.8 and 10.10. 10.8
10.8 and 10. Okay. So this is the breakout room question. Devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Response to the statement with the reference of 10.11 verse and purport. Devotees are in the darkness of ignorance. Okay, just go through it. Go through the purport of 10.11 and understand it. And then you just have to, that's the question, respond to the statement with reference to the verse and purport. Okay, more of a preaching application can be done here.